What is up, kinfolk? How y'all doing today? I hope y'all are doing well. So last video I posted was about the Safety Act. It is the act that's going into effect in Illinois as of 2023 that will eliminate cashless bills for some high-level offenses, among other things. And it started reminding me of a documentary I had saw a couple years ago called Seattle is Dying. And I kind of want to revisit it because I feel that a lot of policies that we see being pushed these days are similar to some of the things that we've seen in Seattle, the Bay Area, San Francisco, LA, and I just kind of want to revisit that, especially because it's been about 3 or so years since this documentary has been released. I can tell you things have only gotten worse, but I'm curious how bad things were back then when this documentary was done. So, without further ado, let's get into this.
Let me ask you something. What if Seattle is dying and we don't even know it? This story is about a seething, simmering anger that is now boiling over into outrage. It is about people who have felt compassion, yes, but who no longer feel safe, no longer feel like they are heard, no longer feel protected. It is about lost souls who wander our streets, untethered to home or family or reality, chasing a drug which in turn chases them. It is about the damage they inflict on themselves, to be sure, but also on the fabric of this place where we live. This story is about a beautiful jewel that has been violated and a crisis of faith amongst a generation of Seattleites falling out of love with their home. There is another part of this story, too. It's about a solution, an idea for a city that has run out of them. And I ask again, what if Seattle is dying and we don't even know it?
Man, honestly, this looks like every day in San Francisco. I mean, it's kind of sad, but this looks like an everyday thing in San Francisco. Even, in fact, this encampment that they're showing right here on screen, I've seen much worse just outside of Berkeley. Just the whole side of the road just covered with tents. You go to Oakland, man, and you see underneath the BART transit like line, and it's like people with makeshift homes, tents, people passed out in the street, not in the street, but on street corners, shooting up at bus stops. Even in San Francisco, there's like a poop app, I kid you not. There was a high level of fecal matter of people just taking craps like in the middle of the sidewalk on the streets. So they developed an app to be able to tell you where to watch your step. In fact, I'm curious, how much does one make? Because I also heard a crazy figure about how much someone makes cleaning up poo in San Francisco. Whoo! Boy, I am in the wrong field. Are you kidding me right now? In San Francisco, you can earn more than $184,000 a year in salary and benefits for cleaning up feces as members of the city poop patrol. Workers are entitled to $71,760 a year plus an additional $112,918 in benefits such as health care and retirement savings. The San Francisco Chronicle reported, shoot, I should quit my job. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't want to clean up poo, but dang, for the right price.
Last May 2nd, at a town hall meeting in Ballard, simmering anger boiled over into all-out rage.
So why do we see so many people living outdoors?
Will you manage these camps, and will you enforce the law?
There has evolved a profound disconnect, and rarely has it been more vividly laid out than in this exchange.
If property crime is committed, violence is committed, you need to call 911 and the police.
You've lost all credibility when you said 2 words. You said call 911. Do you understand that the police have told us to vote you all out so that they can do their jobs? And you're telling us to call 911?
some of it is politicians putting in laws, and even not even laws, because you have like DAs in certain places who are not going to charge people for certain crimes. So literally a cop can arrest this man, put him in jail, and then, there will be no prosecution. This guy is back out on the streets within a couple of days. And then the cop is seeing the same exact guy that he arrested a couple of days later back on the streets. Like, why would I put my life in jeopardy? At the end of the day, like, we look at cops as a separate entity. These are people. These are humans with families. Like, why would I put my neck on the line for someone who I know is violent, who nearly took me out the last time that we wrestled him to the ground? And now he's out on the street, and you're telling me, like, I'm not going to do that. And especially considering the amount of consequences and punishments that come with if I do something that is outside of what the public might deem, because the public scrutiny at the end of the day wins in all this stuff. So even if it's by the book and everything like that, if it looks bad in the public's eye, you're gonna catch flack. So it's like, bro, why would I put my life on the line for something like this? It doesn't make any sense.
This is a list of familiar faces, repeat offenders, people who break the laws, get caught, get released, and break the laws again and again and again. There are 100 names on the list. Scott Lindsay is the man who dived into public records and researched the list.
If we take somebody into the jail, don't give him meaningful help, and then put them right back out on the streets, we know they're going to commit the same crimes in the same places. And our public records, our criminal justice records, really show that that's exactly what's happening.
Look at the sheer volume of criminal cases. Calvin A., 68 criminal cases since 2002, repeated random assaults on random individuals. Drainen B., 54 criminal cases since 2016. Michelle C., 72 cases since 2000. And the list goes on and on. Seattle's mayor says this:
it is wrong to conflate homelessness with a rise in crime.
For at least 100 people, it would at the very least appear to be a factor.
Of the 100 that you looked at, what percentage of them were homeless?
Yeah, from our criminal justice records, 100% had indicators that they were currently homeless.
And what percent showed signs of addiction?
Yeah, 100% also showed signs of a substance use disorder.
And what percent were mentally ill?
Yeah, a little less than half had been evaluated by the courts formally for mental health conditions, serious, severe mental health conditions.
On average, the people on the list had 36 criminal cases each in the state of Washington and 7 jail bookings in the last year.
What this report also shows is that the police are working hard. They're making contacts, they're making arrests for criminal behaviors of, again, the same people in the same places over and over and over. What I think we need to focus on is what is our criminal justice system doing to support those police officers.
The 100 names had between them more than 3,600 criminal cases. For the most part, few have done serious time. They are out in our communities, walking our streets.
I believe if it's under $1,000 theft, if the theft is under $1,000, you won't be criminally charged. I believe that is the case in San Francisco. Dude, even where I live, I used to work in a grocery store, and it was funny because there was a guy who was taking orders from people in the parking lot. He walked in, stole a whole bunch of stuff, walked out, and sold the merchandise he stole. And this is meat. So, ribeyes, New Yorks, all like the expensive filet mignon, to go sell it in the parking lot. It was brought to the boss's attention, and he was like, it's going to cost us more to have the police come and do an investigation and all this stuff like that, as opposed to just letting them walk out the door. But it's twofold, right? Because I worked in the meat department, and to see these guys like waking up early, shifts sometimes is like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, cutting meat all day, just to have some person taking orders in the parking lot, stealing the stuff, and then selling it. And he did this twice. But that is the state in which we live in. That people can get away with doing some outlandish stuff like that with no consequences whatsoever.
He looks around at Seattle's post-apocalyptic landscape and is amazed.
But this borders on insane. I mean, we're allowing ourselves to participate in an insane practice that is affording people. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Richard started a Facebook page called Seattle Looks Like Shit. It's not meant to be funny. It's meant to be sad.
Pictures speak for themselves. I started grabbing a few photographs in the area, posting those, and the name of the site, as I drive around, look, I just say to myself, Seattle looks like shit. We're fed up with it. I was fed up with it. That's why I started the page.
Day after day, one after another, the pictures on the page from every corner of the Emerald City paint a picture of rot and filth that is being allowed to fester on the streets and in the lots and under the overpasses of a once proud city.
It looks like a third world. It looks, junkyardish. I'm not heartless, but I don't see that what we're doing now is helping anybody, and it hasn't gotten better.
These pictures are more along the lines of that what I've seen in Berkeley and Oakland area. This is exactly what it looks like. No exaggeration. This is literally what it looks like. Yeah, it's sad. There's also the concern of health, public safety, because, you think about it, like, these places probably have rats. Disease can spread through rats, as we know, so, and you don't want to, it's not a clean environment, man.
Seattle police are afraid to speak out. For 2 years, we've tried to get cops to talk about what they see every day, about what's really happening on the streets and behind the scenes. More than once, the word terrified was used. Cops are terrified of losing their jobs and pensions, terrified of retaliation. And so we put out some generic questionnaires, which were filled out by completely anonymous police officers. Their responses are eye-opening, frightening, and at times sad. One officer wrote simply, "Yes, I am frustrated because I'm a law enforcement officer that is told not to enforce the law." Another wrote, "It's simple. Start keeping criminals in jail. Judges need to stop giving them ridiculously low sentences, and prosecutors need to stop accepting cheesy plea deals and actually lock people up when they commit a crime. That's all it would take to drastically lower Seattle's crime rate." Another officer said, "People come here because it's called Free-addle, and they believe if they come here they will get free food, free medical treatment, free mental health treatment, a free tent, free clothes, and will be free of prosecution for just about everything." And they're right. It didn't used to be that way. Law enforcement officers used to be able to enforce the laws. This officer continues, "In the last 5 years, there has been a culture shift, and it started with the legislature decriminalizing felonies and dumping convicts onto the streets." And then there is this. An officer says, "Even if quality warrant arrests are made, the judicial system sees fit to let them out of jail within a couple of days, often the next day. Why are we risking our lives to take felony-level fugitives into custody if they're just going to be released?" Prosecutor's office and judges alike seem to be drinking all the Kool-Aid, causing a huge disconnect and a broken system with absolutely no teeth.
And this will be America. This will be America. And some people are like, it's not going to show up in any of you. Like, we're from Texas, we're from Florida. It's like, you realize a lot of these people who are leaving California, leaving New York, and a lot of these places like Seattle are moving to the places where you guys are living. But in some ways, they're not necessarily changing their political stances on a lot of this stuff. And they're just going to perpetuate the very thing that caused their home state to be utter trash. Like, this is just going to be a perpetual cycle. The only way I could see this ending is if people actually start to, stand up and, I don't know if voting is the issue. Like, I'm conflicted on voting. Like, that's a whole thing. Yeah, maybe voting on a local level and paying attention to what's going on the local level, because a lot of people just say they don't vote and then they literally just don't vote for anything. And then the next thing that they know is like, dang, why am I paying so much in taxes? Like, well, that was on the ballot. You just didn't vote. Or, at least if you're not going to vote, being conscious of, what is being proposed, and then knowing, okay, this passed, all right, so how is this going to affect me? You know what I mean? But this is America. This is where America is headed. From what I understood and how my parents explained it to me is that California used to be like the stepping stone, and New York the stepping stone for how the rest of the country would react. So when California does one thing, right, give it like 5 or 6 years, and eventually other states are going to propose it and even pass it. So this is, like I said, this was 3 years ago. The Safety Act is being initiated in 2023. This already happening like in San Francisco, Seattle, places like that. Guaranteed, all you people who are moving to Texas or people who are living in Texas, I guarantee you, give it a couple years. Once these kids and all these people start getting old enough to vote, as well as like, you know, people start voting in, you know, Texas, guaranteed you're gonna start seeing a lot of this stuff come up. And maybe initially nothing changes. Give it time.
That is Travis Berge stretching out before we interviewed him. He came from Reno 4 years ago. He's a musician, a big personality, and he has problems.
You're a user, right? What's your drug of choice?
I use methamphetamines.
Yeah.
And I try to at least use it once a day. But I don't really consider myself a drug abuser. The shit is amazing.
You like the meth?
I love it.
Remember that list of familiar faces? Travis is on it. 34 criminal cases in 4 years. Things like assault, attempted rape, trespassing.
You're on a list, you know.
Nice.
There's a list of the 100. They came out with the 100 frequent flyers,
really?
Friendly faces.
Of everything?
Of all, the entire.
Which one am I?
Which number on the list?
Yeah.
Oh, you're up there.
Nice.
You're up there.
I was just saying, like, I've definitely been the most in Seattle. Guaranteed.
Travis, put the bike down, Travis.
This is body cam footage of an incident on First and Pike a little more than a year ago.
Travis.
Hey, isn't Pike's Place? That's where Starbucks is. Pike's Place. Yeah. I think it's on Pike. If anybody like knows Starbucks, they have a coffee called Pike's Place. So this was on Pike's Place, and what's even funnier is I think there's a bike on the actual like packaging of it. I used to work in Starbucks, so you know. Yeah, interesting.
Travis, what's up? Travis, what's up? Hey, come on, Travis. Travis. Hey, you bitch. Hey. Travis, put the bike down.
It started with property destruction and escalated into assaulting police officers. A bunch of cops were deployed.
Stand up so we can get out of here.
Berge spit on them.
Don't spit.
Fought them.
Hey, no biting. Don't bite yourself either.
Stand up, Travis. We're going to the gurney. Here's the gurney.
It lasted hours.
Forward.
This looked like it lasted all the way until the morning time. Jesus, Travis.
Well, I'm actually not even high right now.
Travis is outrageously unapologetic about his life and his world. He could care less about yours.
Do you steal for your habit?
I actually just started stealing last Monday. I started stealing, and oh my God, dude. That was one of the hardest sacrifices, is to like do unrighteous things in front of my dudes.
Travis, just relax. Travis, do you want to smoke? Travis, you want to smoke or a candy bar?
Oh! But
will you continue to do that?
Oh, I'm having a blast now. It is so much fun.
What should the system do with a guy like you?
I think that this system has done what any viable, legitimate system would, and they've really like exalted me, and like shown deference and love towards me.
Back the I want to see you pick it up with your mouth. Remember when you caught it with your toes?
And like, I don't feel like I'll ever be arrested again. I haven't been in jail for like a year and 3 months or so. Jeez. You know, so a change like that, responding to a big change, definitely shows that I have conquered the criminal justice system.
Want to know the sad part, the truly frustrating part? He's probably right.
There's a part of me that says this person needs help. But then there's a part of me that's just like, screw it. Because he doesn't seem like the person who wants help. You know what I mean? Like, he seems totally fine. It could just be that he may be on drugs, whatever, like, you know. But if you're blissfully happy with the life that you're living, like, can't do nothing with that. Like, you can't do nothing with that, right? If someone's like happy at the bottom of the barrel, it's like, bro, I could tell you to, like, you know, aim high and all that stuff. Like, dude, aim high. I'm chilling down here. What the heck? 34 counts. One of them was attempted rape and hasn't been to jail in a year and a half. This is America. And that's my issue with California is I've been here my whole life. Bay Area, love it. The diversity, the food, the culture, like everything about it is absolutely amazing. And I've gone to other places, you know, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. However, the same place that I grew up at is not the same place that I'm living in now. It's not. And, you know, when I was younger, I would have swore I would raise my kids in California. I told my boyfriend we're going to make our money and get the heck out of Dodge. It's a good place to stop, but it doesn't seem like much has changed. I feel like things have been exacerbated. If you guys did like the video, go ahead and leave a like down below, as well as subscribe for the next one, because I think this is going to be a 3-parter. As always, Camfolk, I love y'all, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.